Straight to the stock market, where the stock market on the Nigerian Exchange Limited on Thursday recorded a bearish tilt as overall capitalization dropped by 5 billion naira. The all-share index decreased by 8.83 points, representing a decline of 0.02% to close at 51,944.58. Similarly, the market's capitalization lost 5 billion naira to close at 28.29 trillion naira as against 28.3 trillion naira posted in the previous session. The downturn was impacted by losses recorded in medium and large capitalized stocks, amongst which are MAYBAKER Nigeria, Zenith Bank, Nigerian Exchange Group, Fidelity Bank, and Africa Prudential. The year-to-date returns settled at 0.67%. The stock market has advanced by 348.9 basis points since the start of the year. Market breadth closed negative as TRANSCORP led 18 gainers and 21 losers, topped by MAYBAKER at the end of the day's session. Joining us to analyze this is Ambrose Amodio, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consultant Limited. Always good to have you on the show. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
The market has seen a downward trend, a bearish trend since Tuesday when the market opened. How do you explain this trend?
Actually, I would say that the market is already on a decline phase. That is, the market is correcting itself. It's expected that when markets have rallied up, you have to pull back to create opportunity for people to buy. But the good news is that this is time investors should invest with knowledge, not just following bandwagon. Have your goal to guide you. What we are saying now is that already this is a dividend period. We're seeing that some companies are doing their AGM already. We're seeing payment dates, but liquidity in the market is a bit low. And also, don't forget that because of the hike we saw on Wednesday, Treasury bill, market at about 14.7% for 360. Also, it has the way of competing with the market, because I tell you, people that are risk-free, that don't want to take risk, might be looking the way of fixed income market because of the high yield. Now, these are the factors that is all competing with the market. But for those that are designing in nature, especially the investors, take your dividend. For we traders who are smiling that as they are marking down these companies, prices are coming down for us to buy, because I expect that after this transition period between now and May, gradually we won't start seeing statements from the new government to start building confidence again. Sector they want to look at to reform. These are the things that will drive the market between now and the end of the second half of the year, or the first half of the year. I believe that there's no cause for panic in the market, but take your decision that if a trader not going to buy, using your technical tools is very, very key, because now that we are seeing market coming down, people are panicking. Why some are making money in the market? Why? Because they understand the tools to use when the market is coming down. You need to look at what is happening in your volume, what is happening in your resistance and support level, and other the tools. But for those that are fundamental, guys, look at your dividend income, take your dividend income, and wait. If the company has shown a post spread at where they are going, for example, now we saw the first quarter result of UBA yesterday. That number is very telling that UBA is promising for 2023. They are starting on a good note for the current financial year, and that will give an insight what we should expect from the banking sector. If, say, for first quarter we saw a lot of headwinds starting from the cash scarcity, and at the same time we saw the NPR what we call Positive Manager Index coming from Stanbic IBTC, telling us that for the month of February we saw a decline in terms of business activities in Nigeria, also in March. But if we are seeing numbers coming from UBA now, we saw the one that came from Infinity Trust Bank, Mortgage Bank, tells that these financial sectors where the banking, it's like what happened has not affected them. Like that, people that even when we are saying there is a cash flow, people are still doing transaction. UBA number has given us insight that despite the CBN cash crunch issue, we are seeing a good number coming from the financial sector. Also, don't forget that when there is high interest rate, the banks benefit much from it, because the cost of their return for the loans will become more. For me, investors should not panic. Rather, invest with knowledge and know why.
But doesn't that have a downside for business owners, manufacturers? When the interest rate goes up, of course, we know the banks are cashing out, but the manufacturers are having to pay more.
Actually, you can see what is happening in the US because of high interest rate. The economy is already, and what we call what I put in, is it a mini or a mine recession we are seeing in that environment because of high interest rates. And also, banks in that environment have suffered crisis previous months. But for Nigeria, thank God that our banks didn't go in the same direction. Our banks are healthy, and also we expect that when the new government come, already was hearing feeler that interest rates is going to crash. When it crashed within government, that also encouraged what the people. For now, I will tell you the brunt is on what on the manufacturing sector, because high cost of running business is going to affect. That is why, as an investor, look at which sector will this hit, because that cash crunch was going to affect the consumer goods, the manufacturing, because people, these are, as an investor, I say this time to use your knowledge to invest, not just following. I'm not expecting a better number to come. For example, if you look at what is happening in telecom industry, no matter what has happened in the first quarter of the year, it's not going to affect telecom, because you and I are still making calls. But for there are sectors that this activity is going to affect. For you as an investor, know what to do now that we're expecting the numbers. I tell you, by next week we've seen inflation figure for the month of March. After that, all eyes will be on what? On Q1 number to see how it's going to influence the market. Then now we're thinking of how to see the statement and how they're going to have a smooth transition from incorrect government to government. These are the things that will show the market.
But there's still a bit of skepticism when it comes to the markets, looking at the fact that this is a transition season, as you said, and they are wondering, investors are a bit holding back a little to see what the coming days hold, especially the cases in court, the fact that May 29 another government comes in. If the courts rules in favor of another party goes into power.
I agree with you, but for we analysts or investors, yes, there's what we call political risk, what you say, but the most risk that is certain is the election itself. If election has come and gone, the litigation is caught, that is part of democracy. So that it was sorted out, that will not affect. It is when the election is coming that the fear is high. But now, yes, we know, but we believe that we have seen the process. Yes, people are going to challenge the process. At the end of the day, we have gotten already presidential elect on ground. Let's see what happens. But I believe that design investors are looking at how can I take advantage of this uncertainty that is this period. People are panicking to buy low, because once we start seeing things shaping up, people start coming in the market. That is the difference between you and those that are fearful. Those that are fearful will be sitting on the fence. But you that are risk taker will take advantage of what you are seeing now to position. When they are coming back, you'll be cashing out, you'll be smiling on them, because you took the risk while they are starting to see where.
But of course, you have to take the risk with wisdom.
No, that is calculated risk, and that's
calculated risk. Yeah. But let's move on to the gainers table. We see TRANSCORP leading the gainers with a gain of 10% to close at 1 naira 54 kobo, and then WAPIC followed suit, 7.69% increase to close at 42 kobo. What do you see as the reason for this? For me, that's why I said earlier that this is the time for you to invest with knowledge. When you see TRANSCORP volume coming out with TRANSCORP for more than 2 weeks, you see that something is happening. We technicians, when we see volume, give for instance something is happening in this stuff. We have seen volume TRANSCORP before now. I've seen that in the last 2 days, I'm almost 20% in those 2 days. The ones that came before now, something is pushing that stuff. That means there is what we call positive sentiment on that stock. And look at your sentiment report, because they're almost 100%. That means we have seen buyers. That means that's another you can see it's on bid. But in sentiment report, say 100% buy. People are really taking position because of what they're expecting. Now they mark down the stock that same day again back. And also we're expecting that AGM is coming up on the April 26th. That also will give us where is the company going from there. Investors are taking advantage. How can I position ahead of the company AGM that's coming up on the 26th? That is what is driving the stock. But I believe that also what government did, when the president signed the power sector into concurrent list from from the what they call it, from the one little concurrent list. That means state and federal government can generate their power automatically. Exclusively.
For state and the federal can generate power. Now that means TRANSCORP have the opportunity to generate power in the east, because it has a plant in Enugu, also have a plant in Delta. For me, this is a business that people say, oh, if state can generate their light, TRANSCORP already there's opportunity for them to make more money, even though they are transiting to either state government or federal grid or state grid. All the people, that's why people are thinking that in anywhere in the world, go and see the utility sector, the power sector, the energy sector are most as, because you need power for your light. That means there is business for them already. For me, people are thinking that let's think about the future, because every investment is against what? Against the future.
Indeed. Mutual benefits is also on the gainers table with a gain of 6.25% to close at 34 kobo, followed by Prestige gaining 5.26% to close at 40 kobo.
Actually, if you look at the gainers, you can see that the insurance company dominated the top 5 gainers for the week. It tells you something that there's something investors are also expecting from the insurance company. One, don't forget that at the beginning of this year, we saw that the insurance sector, the regulator has increased the premium for almost 200% from 5. Let's say, for example, now for those that do third party, that your third party are moved from 5,000 naira to what? That means 200% increase. And this has the way of boosting their earnings. If their earnings is sustained, we'll see positive trend that will make this sector very attractive for investors. And for those that are thinking long, seeing the stock that are selling 50 kobo, 60 kobo, and you see that they have strong fundamental, they tend to start buying. But when you start seeing that positive numbers as a result of improve earnings, because all over the world it is the insurance company that owns bank. Only that in Nigeria is a reverse the case. Now that we are seeing that this premium is going to boost their earnings, I believe that investors that are designed, I said, are already taking position in this stock ahead of what their Q1 number. That Q1 number give us a nice, for the first quarter, let's see what they have done with that increment we have seen from 5,000 naira to 15,000. So another premium has increased also. Let's say it's going to impact their bottom line. That is why we are seeing such.
All right, quick to the decliners table before I get your predictions for the day. MAYBAKER led that table with a loss of 10% to close at 4 naira 5 kobo. Ikeja Hotel followed suit with a loss of 9.24% to close at 1 naira 8 kobo.
For me, I would say that is just market forces or sentiment, because people are taking profit in MAYBAKER. This is stock that moved from as low as almost 320 to 460. Now also they've declared dividend of 30 kobo. Those that have made profit more than 30 kobo are the ones taking profit. There's no cost. Don't forget that every sector of any economy is very, very stable. And we've seen that this company numbers are not looking bad. For me, there's no cost for that. For Ikeja Hotel, they declare a bonus for this current financial year. This is just profit taking for Ikeja Hotel.
So what are your predictions for the day? How do you
we have seen the market have done already in a decline phase, but last week we have seen a seesaw movement. Market was up slightly on Wednesday. They saw it down yesterday. Today, we'll likely see that trend, but I believe that some companies that have that have done their AGM and today is their payment day, that will provide more liquidity for the market. Like a company like DOWNN5 have just approved no payment. It might also provide liquidity for the market, and if such stock go up today, might likely change the face of the market to close positive. But I believe that the mixed trend we are seeing will continue in the market today. Interesting.
Thank you so much for the in-depth analysis, as always. Ambrose Omodio, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consultant Limited, and have a great weekend.
Thanks for having me.
So to come after the break, carbon markets are a form of emissions trading that allows companies to buy and sell carbon credits to meet their trans-emission target. This is our focus. After the break, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.